thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
Welcome back, everyone, to episode 284 of the Massenomics podcast, the lifting podcast about nothing, recorded live from western, northeast, South Dakota. My name is Tanner.
And my name is Tommy.
Tommy, I think this is 284. Mm-hmm. That's what I said. Where's the old calculator? Let me bust it out. So 52 weeks in a year still, right?
Last time I checked.
Times 5.5, 286. 2 more episodes and we'll be at the 5.5 year episode.
Really?
Yeah.
300 is not very far away either.
No, we're just 16 off of that. So what's that for? 8, 12, 4 months. So what month will we be in there? We'll be in
towards the end of the year, or January.
January?
Yeah.
So in January we should
the year.
hit 300. Okay, yeah.
Which the numbers start to feel like they don't even matter at all anymore. Like I routinely have to think, okay, is it
what
2 or 300?
Yeah,
like,
right.
It's just, it's all losing all perspective here.
Yes. So we're going to do the 300 chicken McNuggets on the episode 300 then?
I think that's the plan.
Yeah. Okay. Today's episode right here, this show is brought to you by Texas Power Bars. Buddy Caps first started lifting weights in the late 60s and began powerlifting in the mid-70s. At that time, he was working for Image Barbell building gym equipment. Around 1976, a local machine shop started making Olympic bars for them, calling it the Image Bar. In 1977, Image Barbell became Champion Barbell. It was then that Buddy started looking at the bars with an intent to change them for the better. In 1979, Buddy bought his first lathe to begin addressing the known issues. In 1980, his passion, drive, and purpose now had a greater mission. Buddy set out on his own to make what he believed was the greatest bar he had ever seen and trained with, and the Texas Power Bar was born. It was strong as a house with the best knurling, and it was maintenance-free. Hundreds of state, national, international, world, and Massenomics powerlifting records have been and continue to be set and broken on the legendary Texas Power Bar. To learn more and get one of the bars for yourself, visit them at texaspowerbars.com. You can see if they still have any blemish bars on discount. Those are only $250 on a blemish power bar. An outstanding deal, if I don't say so myself. We already have 3 Texas power bars.
But they say once you have 3, you just want 4.
Well, that's it's like, blemish one is only $250. Should just buy that.
You got to.
Have we had any interesting gym equipment? I guess we got the Concept 2 rower in the gym.
Oh, you know what?
Not exactly the strength equipment.
It's actually funny that we got that. I'm excited. When you said we're getting the rower, I was excited because I've never been on a rower in my life. I've never done it. And I'm like, I want to know what the motion's about. I've seen it in there twice, and both times I'm like, I'll do that after my workout. And literally walk right by it and don't even think about it. So it's funny that you say that because I guess that just shows where I place it in my brain.
Yeah, we had this old free elliptical that we had received from someone years ago, and kicked that to the curb.
The most
chintzy,
home
junky
elliptical you could ever imagine.
Yes, a very, very home.
Did someone actually take it then?
Got someone to take it.
Yeah, you put a free sign on anything. And
Didn't have to carry it up the stairs.
You put a free sign on anything in Massenomics gym, and it does not have a chance.
That thing also wasn't even hardly heavy because it was so light. It was so chintzy,
so cheaply built. Yeah. So the rower, I gotta get on that thing. I gotta see what that's about.
The new Concept 2 rower. I mean, that model isn't new, but
that thing's been around. That design has been around for a long time. Hasn't it?
I bought my wife one of those 5 years ago, and I don't think this is any different than that. So,
do they really do anything besides rowers? And I think they had that one machine that's kind of like a pull down
skier.
Is that what they call it?
I think that's the skier.
That's all they do, though, isn't it?
They have a bike, I think, too.
Oh,
they do have a bike.
Yes,
but it's not the arms are not like the Airdyne.
Fixed.
Yeah. I think the arm there doesn't have swinging arms like the what's our Rogue one called?
The Echo Bike.
The Echo Bike, yeah. But so we paired that. I kind of like having that to go along with the Echo Bike because those are kind of two.
It has turned into a pretty legit cardio corner over there.
Right. Like we don't need much, but like the few things we
don't.
have, I want them to be, kind of the good things.
Echo Bike, the rower. Right now, there's a basic treadmill there too. So
I would love if they're just so god awfully expensive. I would love one of the, I forget what they're called.
Freeform?
Yeah,
True, whatever
those are. One of the curved treadmills
that's like self-powered.
Yes.
There's no motor to those at all, is there?
I don't think so, and that's part of the big appeal to me is like the regular treadmills. They're always breaking, and like they're working on those at gyms all the time, and that ain't what Massenomics gym about.
No. Yeah, it's a high maintenance. Yeah, it's the wrong place for that.
Yes, high maintenance gets the boot. Then we also recently ordered a new half rack. We're getting a replacement half rack.
Did you actually order that?
Yep, that's ordered. But
Sweet.
That was like a 30 to 60 day lead time on that one coming in, but it'll be the monster
30 to 60
3x3.
before it ships, or
I think it's made to order, so I don't even know if maybe it doesn't ship even until like 60 days.
Okay.
To be continued on that one.
A few months out there.
Yeah. Then other than that, I don't think
What color did you say that one's in?
that's black and red.
Black and red.
Whereas our big rack is kind of red and black. This is the yin to the yang.
But that's because you can't even get that one in red.
Yeah, it's the
correct?
only colorway that this particular one comes in. It's like the collegiate monster half rack is what this one is.
To replace the older half rack.
Yeah, it's like a bigger, faster, stronger half rack.
Is that actually what that brand was on that
Yeah,
one?
it's either BFS. What's the movie?
I can't keep that straight. I forever
It's
have
the
got
opposite
that.
of the movie.
Okay. Yeah, I can't
And
keep that
so
straight anymore.
that was the magazine. The opposite of the movie was the magazine. That was like a high school and college football. That was like a big magazine that they put out where it had like training and stuff in it that you did. So I'm not sure if the equipment company was tied to that magazine. My guess is it was. I don't remember this from the time, but I'm guessing you could buy these things like in the back of the magazine.
Yeah, the mail order thing.
Yeah, I think that's how that
would make sense.
Someone will know that. Someone out there knows that. Or maybe it's a completely separate entity and the names were just the same. But I think that my assumption is how that
I would
worked.
imagine if people came into Massenomics gym and saw the stuff, they'd see the little half rack tucked in the corner and be like, that's obviously the thing that gets used the least here. And that is not the case at all.
Oh, no, that gets used a lot.
It gets used. It's unusual to go in there and not see on a day when there's more than like two people in there and to not see someone using it.
Yeah, upgrading that to a quality piece of equipment will help though. That spreads the love a little bit.
It does. It does for sure.
So that's the gym update.
That's good. Weather update. We don't really have much to report. It's just really nice all the time.
It's been pretty great. Today was actually warmer, borderline hot, but the last couple, like yesterday, we sat out and ate supper outside, and I said, if I could control outside with a thermostat, all facets of the weather outside right now, this is what it would be like. If I could make it
about as perfect.
It was literally like perfect.
Yeah,
which happens 2 days
because even if the
a
temperature
year.
is good here, usually the winds.
It was just the nice, slight, perfect breeze.
Yep.
We get like 2 of those days a year, honestly, where it's that
kind of what it
nice.
feels like,
Yeah. So that's the weather update.
Whew, okay, we're just knocking these things out. The list is getting smaller by the second here.
That's right. How about our TikTok update?
I think people are going to want to know what's going on in the world of Massenomics TikTok.
I think so.
I think most of our listeners would probably say they kind of feel like it's a party they're not invited to at the moment.
And really, nobody has been formally invited. We have mentioned a couple times that it exists, but that's about it. So we had this video. We mentioned it last week, and I want to get you the live number because it's important to have the live number for this recording.
So
this recording that's going to come out.
Rounding is not allowed here.
Well, and it's important for it to be a live number because this recording will come out in like 10 days. So
right. Because it should probably inflate then.
Yeah. So this video that we had on TikTok now has 961,000 views. So it looks like she's going to pass the 1 million views mark. And the most impressive thing about that 1 million views is it's just as important as I thought it was. It doesn't matter.
It's not important.
It doesn't mean anything. It's like TikTok is whose line is it anyway? Where the points don't matter and it's all made up.
If you substitute that, like if a tree falls in the forest, it's like if a video gets 1 million views on TikTok, does it do anything?
And it's like, yeah, we've gained some followers from it or something. Like some people liked it and everything like that. But like when we have things that go well on Instagram, it does something for our business.
Oh yeah, you notice it like almost immediately.
Right. And this TikTok, we've never had anything on Instagram get 1 million views before. We've had things get like hundreds of thousands of views, but nothing that's gotten 1 million views. But this did it, and it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, it's just insane that's how those metrics work.
Right.
Like, and we don't. I mean, we've been doing this long enough that like social media metrics, like at the end of the day, kind of are just vanity. They don't.
That's true.
They're not like business drivers by any means.
That's true.
I mean, we can have a post. We can literally have posts that get 100 likes, and that post we know is responsible for hundreds of dollars in sales.
Yeah.
And then you can
which
have a
we care
post,
much more about than how many likes we get on
actually
Instagram.
important for the business.
Yeah.
But then you can have, like you said, posts on Instagram get tens or even hundreds of thousands of views. And it's hard to like say for sure.
It's like,
it's
maybe
like
we got
I
some
think,
followers.
Yeah, it's like
you know, it got
some
shared
followers.
around. It's probably good.
Yeah, you think it did some things business wise, but it can be harder to tell on some of those.
Right.
Just because really all it does is reach a broader audience where people are like leaving dumb comments is the primary thing you notice. But yeah, the TikTok thing seems to like almost like not even make a ripple in the Massenomics universe.
And the TikTok audience, especially in the lifting world, is so much more like, I don't know what the words are, maybe immature or unrefined or
like inexperienced
in comparison to the like.
And we're talking huge generalities here too. Like
yes, very generally speaking. A lot of us, I mean, there's going to be identical crossover. A lot of people that are on Instagram or on TikTok.
There's definitely
the exact
Instagram lifting audiences that we don't speak to at all.
No, and I'm really talking about like the bubble we exist in within Instagram that Massenomics exists in, the people that are interacted with us regularly, or even when we have something go really popular on Instagram, we draw in these people that aren't followers, and I still got to give them credit. Like a vast majority of them are still like, they get it. At least to some degree.
They get it in a hurry. If they don't get it right away, they figure it out. And there's still usually people that have like spent some time, like they've gone to a gym before. Like they're not like just getting into it and have no clue how anything works.
I guess part of it is because even when something goes popular on Instagram, it's mostly going out to people that are still kind of into the thing that we're into.
Yeah, a similar audience.
Right. And on TikTok, I think it has more of a tendency to get out there to a broader audience that has no points, like legitimate points of reference when it comes to the lifting world.
Yeah.
So you'll get a lot more of like just the idiotic things that when
something weird is hitting the general population, like they're not used to whatever this culture is here.
Right.
And it was the video. I don't think we said it was the video where the guys are bending the bar.
Yeah, where Larry Wheels.
Yeah, over the house column. They're trying to bend that bar.
Right.
Because and that video that's been on there for like 10 days or more.
Yeah, probably.
And that is kind of the weird thing too, that it still is getting like a decent amount of views on it.
It says a week ago. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's our TikTok fame.
Wow. Was it last week when we recorded? We were saying like, oh, it looks like it might get to 500,000 and it didn't do anything. And like it's doubled again since then. Yeah. It seems to also be nothing.
And it's still a giant nothing burger. What do you think? Have you heard people say nothing burger before?
I was actually in my mind thinking of that, and I'm like, I don't think I've ever heard that saying, but I'll go with it here.
People say nothing burger.
They really?
A giant nothing burger.
Tanner,
and I'm not sure if I like it.
I don't get to sit in enough meetings to pick up on like what's the hot jargon.
No, people say that's a big nothing burger.
In corporate America. Yeah, I
don't know if I like saying nothing burger.
Yeah.
I prefer Good Burger over Nothing Burger. Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. May I take your order?
That's a much better burger.
Yes. Kale. Kale loves. Actually, that's. Yeah.
Kale loves orange soda.
Yeah. Kale loves orange soda.
It's been a long time since I've seen that show too.
Yeah. There's a good documentary. I think it's on Netflix, and it's something about the orange years, or it's a Nickelodeon documentary.
Oh, really?
Maybe it's called the Orange Years, or maybe that's not what it's called at all.
That name would make sense, though. I would believe that.
Yeah, that's why it sounds like that. But anyways, it's good. It's a good documentary, especially if you, I would say, are in between 30 and 40. Mm-hmm. And if you had like watched Nickelodeon, we didn't actually. When I was growing up, until I was maybe 10, we didn't have cable TV. But I still was well aware of it
There's
because like
enough
you go to your
people, yeah.
friend's house, you go to here and there, and like
There was only
you're
so
like,
much programming, like
Yeah.
actually for kids at that
Right.
time. Not like now where there's 1,000 choices.
Right. And it's actually shocking how few shows they actually did have in the
Really?
early years, where it's like, because they really didn't air original stuff at first. They were just like slowly building their original stuff. The original, they're like the cartoons. There was like 3 original cartoons.
Really?
Yeah,
Probably
I think
like
it was
Rugrats.
Rocko's Modern Life, and Doug.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd believe
and it's
that-
like so
that-
those, and it's like, oh, that's, or maybe Ren and Stimpy was an original too.
That could be it. Yeah.
But there was like 3 or maybe Ren and Stimpy was an original, and Rocko's Modern Life came just slightly later than that. But Doug and Rugrats were in there, and then I'm not sure which of those, or maybe it was 4. But you know those.
I watched a lot of those shows as a kid though. Like
And
that
then
was-
slowly after that, they started the actors. You know,
Right,
like
more like the
Clarissa
sketch
Explains It
comedy kinda
All.
stuff
Yeah,
and, scripted too.
Hey Dude, and Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Yep.
And
Yeah,
I
God,
watched, you know, and it is a fun trip down memory lane. And then like Guts. And
Yep.
the big one is Double
Like,
Dare. They talked to
Double
Mark Summers
Dare,
quite a bit. You
Legends
know?
of the Hidden
Yeah,
Temple
yep,
too.
yeah.
Wow.
Good shows.
I have not actually seen any of those shows in a very long time, so it would be funny to.
I would, and
I'm
like if
sure-
your wife watched any Nickelodeon too, she would
Oh,
really
yeah,
like it too. It's
I'm sure. I gotta look into that just because I'm 20 plus years removed from that stuff
Right.
now, so that's one of those things where it's like definitely your mind's not gonna remember things how they
It's a
actually
great
were.
nostalgia thing, and it's fun. They even talked like on all that. You know, Coolio was the
Yep, the intro song.
yeah, and like they had Keenan talking about how like Coolio was in the green room, you know, like smoking weed, and everyone,
really?
yeah,
Was that it? Okay.
yeah. Well, it's kind of a weird thing because this was all at Universal Studios. It was, you know, if you remember that,
Yeah, they always did have that.
it was like,
intro.
and it was like a tourist attraction. Like they'd come in and like there'd be all these walkthroughs, like where these people are going and kind of like doing their acting and stuff like that. And like there's all these kids and people coming to Universal Studios and watching all this stuff. It was like a really weird thing.
Yeah, that kind of. Yeah, looking back now, that is kind of bizarre.
Yeah.
I mean, at that age, you're so young. You're just like, okay,
Yeah,
whatever any of that means, sure, yeah.
Right.
just
Or
show me
like the Rugrats theme song. Oh, it wasn't Trent Reznor, of course, but it was like there was someone that like influenced the Rugrats
Really?
theme. Yeah, like the sound from the Rugrats theme song, and it like I wish I knew who it was.
Wow.
Because it was someone that definitely I was like, really? And then once they said it, it was kind of like
The
I just
influence
want to
was
make sure
there.
that it wasn't Trent Reznor. I'm just going to do a quick because if
quick
it is, that's
searching.
really interesting, but I don't think so.
I mean, he does pop up in some weird places. And you said this is on Netflix or what?
I think it's on Netflix.
Okay.
I don't know. No. Okay. Maybe I'm just there's something to that.
Yeah.
Just adds to the.
I'll try and watch that. And
It's
see
not
if I
Trent
can,
Reznor, but there's
pick
just
out what
something that was interesting about that
Okay.
song.
The other piece of nostalgia that I got to get to is I saw HBO has like a documentary on Woodstock '99.
And
It was like I think it was over 2 hours long, and I'm like, okay, I got
to.
to like block out some time actually to get to that one.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't mind seeing that. You know, I was only 10 at the time, so I didn't really mean a whole lot. But it was also like you understood that those were like the cool bands too.
Right.
But yeah, Woodstock with like
Didn't
Korn
some
and Limp
people
Bizkit.
die?
I don't know if people. I wouldn't be surprised if people did. I don't know if they did or not though. I just
Wasn't
know it was
there,
like
like-
got really crazy. Like
Who was
'cause
it when they were like climbing the stage set and stuff?
I don't even know. I don't know enough about it. I don't.
There's something about I
Yeah.
think where
'Cause-
some audience members died.
Okay, yeah. 'cause
Maybe
I
it wasn't
think-
Woodstock '99, but I think that
No, that
might-
wouldn't.
okay.
It wouldn't surprise me. But I think there's like a point when I don't think people were like starting to throw mud on stage or something, and one of the whoever was on stage, I think was kind of like maybe I don't know if they were encouraging, but maybe being a little confrontational with the crowd.
Yeah.
and I think that kind of is where things started to go downhill.
Yeah.
I could be totally wrong though. I haven't watched the documentary and I wasn't there, so what do I know?
What do we know?
But I'll look into it. Whoa, Tanner, time is slipping away.
I know what we do know.
Wow, holy, okay. I know this. This podcast episode is brought to you by The Strength Co. Grant Brogy was born in the late 80s, nearly 2 decades after Buddy Caps began lifting. In the late 90s, Grant's brother Jordan bought him the new Encyclopedia of Modern Bodybuilding by Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Grant's love for weightlifting began. In 2001, Grant joined the local YMCA and began training with weights. In 2009, Grant discovered the book Starting Strength, and in 2012, as a lieutenant in the Marine Corps, he began teaching Marines this method. In 2017, Grant opened his first gym in Costa Mesa, California, and the Strength Co. was born. In 2020, during a major iron shortage, Grant sought to bring back quality manufacturing of Olympic barbell plates to America. His innovation, adaptation, and can-do attitude brought about the greatest plates made in decades. The plates were accurate, anti-fragile, strong as a house, and instantly became the go-to plates for hundreds of lifters at the Massenomics gym. Check out the Strength Co. and their incredible plates online at thestrengthco.com.
Grant really does have a go-to attitude, too, about him.
There is something very go-to about their whole thing over there.
Or, sorry, he has a can-do attitude.
I would
He has
say
a can-do
go-to.
attitude. He also has a go-to attitude.
I would say go-to. I would use that word there, Tanner.
I just can't even think anything Strength Co. without
Without the words go
wanting to
and
go to it.
involved in
Yeah.
it. I 100% agree. Tanner,
Can do, go to.
we're not going to do a what's in the
Oh,
can,
okay.
but I do have 2 cans
Mystery
here. Would you rather
selection.
go cherry bubbly or pasteke LaCroix?
Those are both pretty good.
They are both.
Those are both like
pretty
4s,
good.
aren't they?
These are both 4s all day long in my book.
If you have a preference, you could go ahead and choose because I don't think I would.
I've had a
turn
lot
either
of these
down.
watermelons in
Okay.
the last week, so
Yeah,
I think
that's
I'm going to
good.
pass that one to
Okay.
you and get on the cherry train here.
Yeah.
And actually, I didn't even know I had this cherry in there. It was kind of in the back of the fridge, so.
A sweet treat. I'm going to try not to dump this one on my phone this time.
That'd be a good idea.
Save a little bit of it for my mouth. We give a shout out to Trey Mitchell, won the Shaw Classic, the second annual Shaw Classic. Big Trey was on our show just a few weeks ago here. Maybe it's like 281, 282.
Yeah, just
281,
a
I
few
think.
weeks ago.
Yeah, so go back and check that episode out. Coincidence that we had him on and then he wins the Shaw Classic? You guys be the judge.
Yeah, I think it might be a stretch to say it was a coincidence, though.
I think the Shaw Classic went out over pretty well. It was in Colorado, his second one. They were able to have attendance this year for the first time and had like 16 competitors. Big Z was back. Big Z got hurt. He withdrew after the first day. I'm guessing maybe that'll be the last of his competing with the big ones.
Mm-hmm.
So Shaw got second. Trey Mitchell won, like I said, and I think JF Carone got third. I think that's right.
Okay.
It's
Did you see any of it at all?
No, you can't really unless
'cause
you
I
pay.
thought-
He's
Yeah, he has kind of his own little thing.
yeah, he has
I
the
didn't
reins on
know.
that, and I think they had some problems.
That's
with,
what I saw. He had a post saying that
yeah.
they had issues with their little club or whatever.
Just funny. One of the guys at the gym, Big Caden, he said he had got it and he did have problems with it. So I said, "Oh, did you get your money back?" He's like, "No."
Ooh.
Thinking, like,
Kind of the wrong way
and
to
he
do that.
wasn't upset about it.
Yeah.
And he said, Shaw apologized and stuff like that. But
I guess if it's just part of, if you just, Brian Shaw has his monthly supporting
Right,
thing. If that's
right.
just included for free, then
Right.
it's like there's nothing to really give you money back on. But
they gave away $100,000 in prize. Like, so everyone, like the minimum, like the 16th place guy got like $1,500. The number
like in cash, actually?
yeah.
Wow.
All 16. That's like his big thing is like
That's kind of
they're
a
all.
surprising amount of cash for an event like that, isn't
I think
it?
Brian puts up $50,000.
Okay.
And then he brought in another $50,000.
Then that's less surprising.
Yeah. And I think Trey got like $21,000, 25 somewhere in there.
Okay.
Second place got, actually Brian got second, but he distributed. Brian got second for $15,000. He gave every one of the competitors an extra $1,000.
Right. Yeah. Can't take your own money.
Right.
It's like cheating.
That is. So that's all pretty cool. I think that's good stuff for Strongman.
Yeah, I'd say so. Anytime there's more big competitions, I think that's outside of, like right now you have World's Strongest Man, the different Arnold events, and
Some Giants Live UK stuff that like we don't really.
But I guess over here, like there's, in America, there's not a ton of like higher profile events like this, but
yeah. So that's cool. Trey is very nice, so I'm happy to see him. Happy to see him win.
Definitely talented,
Mild-mannered
talented
Trey.
and strong, no doubt about that.
Yeah, speaking of Strongman,
Oh yeah.
right here in Aberdeen, South Dakota, this very weekend. Actually, we're recording. Did we mention we're recording this on a?
No, we did.
earlier
We are
day than
recording.
normal?
This is Monday night.
Yeah.
God, My brain is straight up scrambled when we do not record on Wednesday night. Even very rare. So we record on Wednesday night 90% of the time. Every once in a while, we got to bump it to like a Tuesday or Thursday. And when we do that, my entire week is just off, because if we do it on Tuesday night, I immediately think that Friday's like right around the corner when it's not. And if we do it on Thursday, it feels like it's the longest week ever, because that's happening. But we're recording this week on a Monday night, which I don't know if we've actually done this in maybe ever even. I don't know if we've ever recorded on a Monday night.
No, that's not a common. We had in 284 episodes. We probably
you would assume we have,
but
night. It can't be more than once or twice if we did.
No, I don't think so. But anyways, this weekend, so just a couple days ago, there was South Dakota's Strongest Man. That event went on in Aberdeen, of all places, and we didn't have any part of putting it on or anything like that. We were a sponsor for the event. Be hard not to sponsor like a strongman or powerlifting event in Aberdeen.
Yeah.
Seem a little silly if we're we're here. So we are one of the main sponsors of the event, and we both went and checked it out and watched it, and it looked fun.
Yeah,
So
it's been a long time since I've seen a powerlifting or strongman event in person. I can't even think of the last time.
I guess I did my powerlifting meet.
Yeah, you did yours not that long ago. But,
right.
But I wasn't there for that though. But yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen a strength event in person, and you always forget it's a fun atmosphere always.
Yeah. There's some big, strong people.
There was a couple big dudes there for sure.
It's always fun just seeing
a couple strong women too.
That's true.
There was a few women that I was. They started going. I'm like, damn, they are throwing that weight around like it's nothing.
Yeah. So that was fun to watch. We didn't really, weren't. So I think some people had asked if we were putting it on or doing anything like that. No, we didn't have anything to do with that part of it. We were just enjoyed the show ourselves.
Yeah,
and
just got to kick back and be entertained.
We did donate the shirts for the event, so everyone wore the 8-bit Strongman tee. So that was pretty cool to see. Like all of it, it was fun. It was like, oh, look, there's like 25
it's always fun
tees.
seeing people in Massenomics.
Right.
Especially when it's a lot of them in one group together.
That
just feels
cool.
good.
So cool stuff there.
For sure.
You know what I wanted to tell you about, Tommy?
What? What did you have something on your mind?
Yeah, I wanted to tell you, I was thinking of a little history thing again here. In the early 80s, Murat Shikras was born in a snowstorm in the Soviet Union. In the late 80s, Murat, along with his parents and sister, escaped communism and found their way to freedom in the United States of America. This is a heavy ad. They escaped communism.
Most of our ads don't get that, the social, economic, global things here. Throughout the geopolitical issues.
Throughout the 90s, Murat played ice hockey and first entered the weight room to train for a sport. But really, he just bench pressed a lot, which turned out to not help him in his sport at all. In the early 2000s, Murat's competitive hockey days came to an end, but his love for the iron was born. With no YouTube or Instagram to guide him, every day was chest and arms day, of course, as with many others in that era. Sketchy pre-workouts and disgusting protein powders were a normal part of his life. In 2011, Murat walked into a CrossFit gym, learned how to squat, and ditched most supplements. In 2013, an old recurring back injury reared its ugly head, which forced him to have spinal fusion surgery. Recovery was long, but he was determined to get back to what he loved. In 2019, fully recovered and now powerlifting in his garage, Murat switched to early morning training sessions, and the pre-workout entered his life once again. Completely dissatisfied with anything he tried, Murat thought to himself, I can do this better. And better he did. Using full doses of studied and effective ingredients, Fusion Sports Performance was born with Super Soldier pre-workout. Staying true to doing this better, he vowed to never use proprietary blends because as a consumer, he felt the need to always know what's in his supplements. Make sure to check out all of his supplements. He's got the Super Soldier pre-workout that we talked about. He's also got the Mad Titan High Stim pre-workout, the whey protein isolate products. Favorite flavor of mine has got to be the chocolate of some sort. All orders are protected by a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you can be sure Fusion will leave you satisfied. That's what she said. Go to fusionsp.net right meow and use code MASS, M-A-S-S, to save a massive 20% on your entire order. That's MASS will save you 20% on everything at fusionsp.net.
You know, Tanner, while you're talking there, I kind of thought Fusion kind of hits on the 3 T's that matter to me, and that's timeline, transparency in their supplements, and taste. I
wondered if taste was going to be one, but then when he went with like timeline, I'm like, oh yeah, timeline.
So they really got all three of the things that matter to me when I'm looking for my supplements. So everyone else should get on that too.
And from that day forward, I always knew what was in my supplements. That just reminds me of something really funny. I know we have a guest waiting, but it's worth mentioning. When I was in the Army, I was in like Fort Chaffee, Arkansas. And we were there for several weeks for a training thing. It was awful. Terrible place.
Okay. Get that part out of the way.
Yeah, terrible place. Don't go there. Sorry if you're from Fort Chaffee, Arkansas. I don't think anyone's from there.
Probably not.
We had, I think it was Penthouse magazines. This was in like 2008. People had nudie magazines.
Like, yeah, the last probably time that those magazines were living the high life.
Or maybe it was Playboy. I don't know what it was, but I think it was Penthouse because it was called Penthouse Forums.
Okay.
It was this thing. It was like write-in letters or stories. It was like stories, like almost like weird
like
pornographic stories.
It's hard to fill a magazine with hundreds or thousands of nudie photos. So we have to have like the weird editorial fantasy section.
Yeah, and it was we would take turns reading the story, and we'd all sit around and just roll laughing.
I'm so glad you said
and
that.
Like really try and get into it.
Yes,
and,
that was the classic. Oh man, this is bringing back so many memories because this really is. It was like. When you first start going on like road trips with the guy, like you're getting your first taste of freedom, you know, like, oh, we can go out into the world and we can get a hotel room. We can go to bars for like the first time and get in.
Yeah.
And then you hit the road and someone gets that nudie magazine and it's just a long car ride. And you do the same thing. You read those things and it's like, who is writing this shit, man? Like the detail that it goes into, but it's also like, it's like trying to be like a higher level of like, I wouldn't say fan. It's like a higher level of like colorful writing. Yeah. But at the same time, it's kind of written by like a third grader.
Yes. Okay. So we would take turns reading them, and it was just purely for fun. It was just fun. It was funny. You know Ryan from the gym, not your brother.
Yep.
Ryan, not your brother. Ryan has talks like
pretty even,
very even keel, like very like matter of factly kind of almost, you know, like usually like mostly one tone and stuff. And he read it, and it was just so funny the way he would read it. It was like the best. Like he couldn't read it and like you not laugh. It was just so funny.
There
was this
picturing
one,
that is really good.
There was this one about like. It was like a neighbor, and he had his neighbor come over, and he was cooking, and it was like, oh, what's on the menu? You know, like, and he's like, ooh, I'll show you what's on the menu. That sort of thing.
Conversation, and so he gets to be two different characters.
Yes, and it revolves around like they're making a dinner, and it's like this funny thing about what's on the menu, and he's like, you know, it's like cock meat sandwiches are on the menu or whatever it is. But the ending line of the story was like, and from that day forward, she never wondered what was on the menu.
Almost like there was a lesson to be learned.
And I'm kind of paraphrasing and maybe mixing it up a little bit, but the ending was like, one of them always knew what was on the menu. And it, just the way Ryan read it, I'll never like that's burned into my brain from laughing so hard about it.
That is so good. That is like that needs to come back if people aren't doing that. If you've never done
I don't
that
think
before.
you can do it.
Next
like
time
those things
I did actually see
magazines.
If you go to any place that has a truck stop, there are still nudie magazines.
Quite honestly, there's a generation of
people that don't know what that's
well,
about.
there's a generation of boys that are going to grow up not like
accidentally finding a nudie magazine.
Right.
That's,
right.
Or having an
like
older,
a friend, like
having a
that
friend that had
kind
an
of
older
naughtier
brother,
friend
or that had the older brother
Like,
had them.
And
they're under his bed over there. It's like, whoa,
he's got like 10 of these things. It smells like cologne in his room.
Who does this guy know? Yep, that was.
But that's not a thing. That's not really going to be a thing. That's not a thing. It's just crazy, disgusting.
I would
internet
say if
stuff.
someone's listening to this and they've never done that before, next time you go on a road trip with the guys, make sure you pick up a nudie mag because that's in there at some point in all of them. I feel like the little short novels.
Yeah. Penthouse Forums. Okay. And now for our guest. We'll switch gears a little bit here.
Just a little.
Enough about Nudie Magazine Day.
People don't know what Nudie Magazine Day is like. You know?
That's true.
Hello.
Is this Big Heather?
Well, yeah, we're going to say big.
Everyone on the Massenomics podcast is big, no matter what size you are.
Nice.
So yes, you're on with Tanner and Tommy.
What's up, Heather?
How's it going?
It's going great.
We're good. We're excited to get you on here. We've got a lot of stuff to talk to you about.
Listen, you know what? You should be excited because my old ass would be asleep right now. But you know what? I went out, got some Mike and Ike's, and I'm awake.
Mike and Ike's the purple and white ones?
No. That's good and plenty, isn't it?
Come on, the green
Mike and Ike's are the
box.
green
Okay,
one.
the
Yeah,
green one. Yeah, those are a lot better. Good and plenty are
That's the
disgusting.
purple one,
Yeah,
isn't
those
it?
are awful.
I don't know if I've ever actually even had
Those are such an old person candy.
Yeah.
Like nobody under 60.
I feel like that's the
likes
candy
Good and
everyone knows
Plenty.
is bad, so you just don't even get them.
Mike and Ike's is pretty good though.
Yeah, Mike and Ike's are
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, okay.
Especially when they're like I don't know if the word is fresh because it's kind of all whatever it is, but the ones that they're not hard, like they just have that right amount of chewiness to them, like they probably haven't been sitting on the shelf too long. Those are the perfect Mike and Ike's.
Yeah, I definitely went and got some Sour Patch Kids the other day, and I'm pretty confident those are probably a year old.
Yeah.
And I mean, I still finished it,
Yeah.
but probably shouldn't have.
It's probably important to point out that Tommy and I aren't young, cool kids that are normally up this late. This is also past our bedtimes too, but we just
after this long Labor Day weekend, it's got our schedules all off too.
That's true.
I know, we just been chilling.
Well, we were thinking of something funny before we get into asking the other questions and stuff. Do you remember at the Arnold like 3 or 4 years ago when we tried to do a little interview with you?
I spoke about that today, actually.
What do you recall from that?
So how I explained it was I had went to the bathroom, and it was right before bench or deadlifts.
And we stormed into the bathroom to interview you?
No, you know what? That would have been cool too. But I came out, and you're like, "Hey, do you have a minute for like a quick interview?" And I thought about, I'm like, "Yeah, like, you know, I'll do this until like my coach comes out yelling at me." And then it's like a suit.
We do need to make it clear this is mid competition. Like people need to understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah. On the main stage at the Arnold. And so as soon as like I speak it into existence, that's when my coach at the time came out, and in slow motion it was like, "Get backstage."
Yeah. He gave you like almost like the cut sign, like, "Get out of here."
Yeah, this is not happening right now.
Well, because like for me, I'm the worst. Like if you say, "Hey, can I ask you something?" I'm gonna be like, "Oh yeah, go ahead."
Yeah.
Like I know I'm competing. Like even at this nationals, I went out into the hallway for God knows what, and I saw somebody. I was like, "Man, what's up?" And they're like, "Heather, aren't you competing?" I'm like, "Yeah, why?" Sometimes I just do my own thing.
Yeah. Well, and the clip, I know we have it somewhere, but the clip is really funny. It's like I'm running the camera. Tanner has the microphone. I think he is like, "Hey, we're gonna talk to Heather here." And yeah, I think as soon as he points the microphone at your face, all of a sudden there's this guy behind you like, "Nope, shut it down."
Yeah.
Yeah, unforgettable, iconic, really.
Yeah.
One of the big things we wanted to ask you about, and you're probably going to be able to educate us quite a bit because I don't know that we even know exactly what's going on. But as far as we understand it, to sum it up, is that you, of course, won USAPL nationals again. And how many times does that make that you've won nationals?
3.
Okay. You won, got first place, so you would normally be going to compete at IPF Worlds, but you'd be normally going to compete at IPF through the USAPL, but the IPF has disallowed anyone in the USAPL to compete this year at IPF Nationals. And then, so what the hell's going on?
I mean, you know what? It's you make it sound pretty okay, but in the grand scheme,
you did deliver that really cut and dry, Tanner. I do got to give you credit there.
In the grand scheme of things, it's not just like USAPL cannot compete with the IPF for a year. Like if I choose to do any USA powerlifting competition, I as an athlete am banned for another year from the IPF.
Okay.
So it's, there was some big meets that were coming up like in December, and we're just left like, what the fuck am I about to do right now?
Yeah.
Y'all don't want me going here. Y'all don't want me going there. Like, what am I going to do? Just sit around and not be the greatest in the world? That's just not an option.
So if you did a USAPL meet next month, or
I'd be banned.
banned for not only could you not compete at IPF Worlds this year, which you already can't through the USAPL, you could for the next IPF Worlds, presumably.
Correct.
And that would just keep going forever. Like if you competed the next year after that, you again couldn't do IPF Worlds.
Oh, okay.
I mean, there's allegedly like maybe another US affiliate coming, but I ain't got time to sit around. Like, you know, I'm not competing at Worlds this year. I'm not competing under the Virgin Islands like some people went to, which again, another shit show.
Could you explain that too? Because I don't even understand.
You know what? Good, because me neither.
Well, that seemed like sitting there, because I'm like, I'll just wait for this. There's obviously a ton of stuff happening all the time.
Well,
and I'm just like, I don't have the time of the day to be keeping up. So I'm like, I'll just wait for this to shake out and then get the full rundown at the end.
Right.
And I kind of just assumed you were doing that, but I'm learning now.
No, because the more I talk about it, the more shady it sounds like. So August 31st was the final day for nominations, and that ended at midnight. Me being like literally the only female competitor on the U.S. team that goes to a job to work. Like most of them are online coaches, strength coaches, whatever. I'm a teacher, so it's not like I have my phone on me 24/7.
Right.
I mean, because I got third graders that just, you know what? I got some of mine. I got some of other teachers. Like it is chaos in the schools. So I'm just trying to get by mentally. And then I see all this crap. But, you know, so final day of nominations at 7:45 p.m. I get a DM saying like, hey, you should try to join the Virgin Island team. I was like, what are you talking about? And they're like, yeah. We all did that today. Oh, y'all couldn't have it's
Like,
it's 7:45 p.m. What do you mean?
Yeah.
So, you know, I do my best. I reach out to the people I'm supposed to reach out to. It was one of those, our team is full. Oh, all right. Why the fuck am I even reaching out at this point?
Well, what does full mean? What does that mean? Like, I don't understand what that means.
From, I guess, word got out to one person, and that one person let a few other people know ahead of time.
Like when you say word got out, like that there was kind of this loophole that they could do it, is what you're saying?
Yeah. And it was, let me take care of my folks before I reach out to outside folks. Like, let me take care of people that are on my same team as far as personal coach, and then let all the other people know second. So a lot of this, it wasn't like a, here's an invite kind of thing, because I don't even think it was able to get to that point. You know, I think all these people reached out before they could even really figure out like, hey, let's try to reach out to these people. So kind of like it seemed like a first come, first served basis, but the more like I think about it, the more I'm like, you know what, that doesn't really sound right. And then I get a text message simply saying, cause you know, I was told like, you know what, if somebody, before midnight drops out the last day of nominations, I'll let you know that a slot becomes available. So I checked in the next day, trying to be proactive, and I'm like, hey, did anybody drop out? Like, did anybody decide they didn't want to go to Worlds? And the only response I got in text form was, Heather, you were not selected. I was like, oh, I wasn't. Okay. So there was a selection process, literally. And I want to toot my own horn because I deserve it. Literally, one of the strongest females in the world was not selected. So I don't understand how that even
what's the selection criteria? Like I would say that all seems kind of sketchy, right? Yeah. Like
it sounds shady.
Yeah.
So like the thing was like, if you had been like, and I said this to somebody yesterday, like had you been like, hey Heather, you weren't selected because I don't fucking like you, I'd have been like, cool, got it.
Yeah.
But you didn't tell me anything. You just said you weren't selected. I mean, you could have said you weren't selected because you know, we only had a few number of slots available and other people got to them before you did. Like there was no explanation, no rhyme or reason. So I was kind of left a bitter taste in my mouth. Like,
It's like, oh,
That's
wasn't this
just-
the whole issue with the USAPL and the IPF in the first place? Was it just always felt like there was shady stuff going on, and then it breaks away, and then it's just like, well, there's just more of that now.
Yeah, like honestly, like that day. So we found out via an Instagram post. Again, I'm a third grade teacher. It's lunchtime. I finally got this kid to not throw his desk at the wall. And then I find out on an Instagram post that we're banned. Okay, I've had a rough day. I'm not going to look at this. But, I am in the talks of joining a different federation, not even affiliated with the U.S. So we're trying to get all the, and you know what? Here's another real shady thing. Okay. So we can just join teams now.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what I was going to say. So can you join? I mean, does it have to be the U.S. Virgin Islands? Can't it be like, can it be any country?
You have to have like some residence or some proof of like something, not just a U.S. passport, not just saying like, hey, I want to join. So that was also very weird. I don't know the ins and outs of their federation. So however they choose to do it,
So
kudos to them.
You're talking like another IPF affiliate.
Yes.
Federation.
So my dad is not from the country. He is from Germany.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I have dual citizenship with them.
Oh, that seems like that'd be an easy one to do then.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like now we're just going through the documentation of everything, and with dual citizenship, when you go and get a passport, because I live in the US, they advise you to only get the US passport to make things easier when you're traveling. So like customs and things don't become an issue when you're trying to get back in the US. So I only had a US passport, but I'm in the process of applying for a German passport. So I joined a club over in Germany because you need to be affiliated with a club over there. I'm doing like the ins and outs that I'm supposed to be doing. But the president of the German Federation, he was like, this is way more strict than USA Powerlifting. I'm like, look, I need fucking strict because then I don't have to worry about something just showing up randomly on Instagram.
Yeah, right. Have a little structure now.
But yeah, like I'm sitting here, I'm going to get all these documents in order. And, because I feel like, you're supposed to do that if you're essentially representing another country. I don't know. But, again, like if I say it out loud, it just sounds real weird.
Yeah. I think it actually sounds less weird though when you technically have dual citizenship.
Right.
Like that's honestly to me almost less weird.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, the U.S. Virgin Island thing is weird. So when it's U.S. Virgin Islands, those people don't need to do any of that. They can just, if you're U.S. citizens, you can just compete for the U.S. Virgin Islands. Then they don't have to jump through those.
That's the thing. They never even did a competition with them.
Right.
Yeah.
So y'all, okay, yeah, come over.
Yeah, that one is for sure weird. The dual citizenship, I don't think that's bizarre at all because there was a lot of people in the actual Olympics a month ago that live and were born in America,
right,
or they were born in another country but lived in America their entire lives, but they decided to represent that other country. And I'm like, hey, if that's what you want to do, that's totally fine. That makes sense. And so to me, the dual citizenship thing along those same lines makes perfect sense to do that.
Yeah, so that's the process I'm going through like right now. And like another question that came to me is if the US decides to get like another affiliate with the IPF, would I leave the German Federation to compete with this one? No, because in my eyes, I feel like if the German Federation's doing like all these leaps and bounds to get me part of the federation, I'm not going to turn my back on them just like that.
Right.
You got people from USA Powerlifting that are now competing with the Virgin Islands already talking about leaving them as soon as Worlds is done.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no. I need y'all to understand. They don't want to be with you. They wanted to be with you. They would have been with you a long time ago. Right. They need to be with you so they can progress forward. There's a huge difference.
So people like that, what's their, so if they do this, get to compete at IPF Worlds for the Virgin Islands, and then they're having thoughts of leaving, like what are they going to go to after that?
It's just like the hope of that U.S. affiliate coming.
So not the USAPL.
Yeah, someone else.
I don't understand though. Like, Okay, if you name it whatever, it's the USBPL. Like, isn't it turned into the same thing? Like, I'm just confused. Like, why isn't it? Don't they have the same problems? That
and you would assume administration is going to be like 70% the same, right? Wouldn't it be?
That's
I don't know. See, and that's some crap I don't even want to deal with.
right.
That's why
Right.
I'm just gonna stay where I'm at. It's just complicated, and it's again, like, no disrespect to the U.S. Virgin Island team. I'm sure they have their own way of quote unquote selecting people and getting it to where you literally need no documentation, just a passport. I mean,
Pretty streamlined.
I don't know how it goes. I don't run the federation.
And you doing this, potentially going on with Germany, that no matter what, you're not going to get to do IPF Worlds this year for that. But if you're able to go through it, you'd be able to hopefully do it next year. Is that the case, or is there still a chance? Okay.
Yeah. So with this federation, I'd be able to do like Europeans, German nationals, and be able to qualify for 2022 IPF Worlds.
So does that mean you have to go to Europe for like a lot of meets then?
Like does that mean you wouldn't get to do any meets in the United States anymore, or isn't it like that?
So I would need to know like the ins and outs of that. But as of right now, the only competitions I have in mind are the ones in Europe. And thankfully they're spaced out to where, I can
make two trips or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty crazy stuff.
That is wow. That's wild.
Is there any, did you give any consideration to the idea of competing in a different U.S. federation that's not an IPF affiliate, someone that also does drug testing, or does is the world competition, which there isn't in those federations, is that what would keep you from doing that?
This is the thing, and these are things like I clarified when, I'm just going about my day, finding out if I compete USA powerlifting, I'm banned. And so I was like, okay, so what about USPA tested? Right. They're like, you can also be banned from that. And I was like, oh, what? What do you mean? Like, it's like, that's what I'm saying. Like, some people in the US team never even they didn't get that 7:45 p.m. text. I mean, they still, till they saw a list of people that had switched, didn't even know that.
Until they saw the actual post.
They're like, what the fuck? And I'm like, yeah, girl, like, I don't know. But, they're in the same situation. I mean, not like they don't have dual citizenship, so I'm a little different situation than them, but they're in the situation to where they don't know what they're supposed to do. They want to compete, clearly, but you're just at too many risk of what you're choosing to do. So it's a headache.
Yeah.
Oh, it does. Especially when it's like, well, at the end of the day, all someone's trying to do is like move weight from point A to point B. There's all these
want to
extra
compete
steps.
against the best doing it. Like, that's all I want.
Yeah. That's the thing. Powerlifting. What is powerlifting without drama? There's always
a couple too many middlemen in there.
Yeah.
So do you have a strong opinion on the USAPL stance and how that all shook out then? Like, do you think they took the right approach with the way they handled it?
No. No, I don't, because
they should have changed up like their drug testing to fit what they were supposed to.
Well, see, here's the thing. USA, I will say this with them, they have been doing this for years, and anybody that was like national, international level, we were always tested by WADA, so we were WADA compliant with that. And there's like this simulation going around that we were not WADA compliant. No, we were tested by WADA. We had out of meet testing, everything like that. So I can give them that. It was just at these local level meets where they were using that third party. And these local level meets are huge. They're bigger than some European national.
Yep.
And a lot of failures were happening on the local level. They didn't, the IPF didn't want them testing at local levels, regional, states. So essentially, that's given someone a ladder to just, get all the way to nationals to beat someone while essentially cheating and then taking away that opportunity for someone to be where they're supposed to actually be, which is in first place. You know, and that's something you never want. Meanwhile, you got some countries that don't test all year. You got some countries that don't even test till Worlds. So, you know, I see why USA Powerlifting put their foot down about it. But I think they kind of like were shoving the IPF because there was like an email saying like, we're giving them to August 29th to give us a verdict if y'all are going to be able to compete or not. And literally the next day, boom. Oh, y'all ain't competing. If you want to give us like a timeline, I mean, because the thing was they were waiting for this one dude who's with the IOC, the IPF they were waiting for this man who was doing something with the Paralympics to where he really wouldn't have been able to get to it till after Worlds. But I feel like because USA Powerlifting kept pushing it, it let them like, okay, well, we'll give you this. But I think the IPF really just wanted to wait till after Worlds, but they just kept getting pushed to it. There was like a lot of, I'm not going to say there was hardly any communication going on. Like I know like myself and a few other lifters were continuously reaching out to like different people in the federation, like, hey, like, what's going on? Should we book flights? Should we do this? Should we do that? And they're like, I don't know. So there was like weeks where we were just like, are we going to Worlds? Are we not going to Worlds? You know, there was an NAPF competition, North American Powerlifting, that was happening in Florida. And because the IPF did not respond to USA Powerlifting quick enough, USA Powerlifting was not able to put in nominations for a USA team. So, you know, we had an NAPF competition happening in Florida with no US affiliate. And so that's what we were trying to not happen to, you know, the classic Raw. Hey, so they left that alone, but they just kept pushing for that date of the 29th, like, hey, let us know. And okay, well, we'll let you know. And honestly, like, you know, I've been speaking to a few people that are higher up in the IPF. And I really feel that, you know, they do hurt for the athletes that were involved because, of course, this has nothing to do with us.
Yeah, right.
And I know personally that some of them are just doing their best to keep us as involved as we can be. Like I know with me trying to switch over to this German federation, some people in particular in the IPF had just been telling me like, this is what you need. This is who you speak to. Like we can get you in here. Like I will agree to this if you have the right documentation. Like they're saying like, hey, we do want you, but we got to make sure you're doing it the right way. And this is how we can help you with it. Like they want us to compete, but there's just USAPL and the IPF, they just had so much like bitterness towards each other. Like it just left the athletes in shock. I mean, we were blindsided by that. Because I mean, we hadn't had no communication this whole time. So, it just left us like wondering, okay, well, what's next for us?
What do you think the future is of the USAPL then? You know, obviously if you compete in there, you can't do IPF events. Will that cause enough people to not compete in there, or like at more so the local level, people that wouldn't have any future competing in IPF events anyways, will they not care and it'll continue to go on, or what? How do you think that plays out?
Here's my comment on that. And I know it's going to be a rough one for anyone that listens to this podcast. They can take this any way they want to. Probably why I didn't get selected for the Virgin Islands, because I'm too mouthy. Anyone that's, you know, anyone that really just stays and stuff like that. I mean, here's my honest, I'll just say opinion. They never had a chance to get into Worlds anyways. Mm-hmm. I mean, these are people that were just in stat classes to where the chances of them getting to IPF Worlds and having to deal with the IPF was slim to none anyways. So they can keep going around, their merry way, competing, doing great, doing their best. But I mean, when you are going up against people like Taylor Atwood in a stack 74 class or a 93 class, I mean, the chances of you getting to IPF Worlds are very slim.
Right.
So it's, for those people, continue to do your thing. Don't worry about it, because honestly, it has nothing to do with you at this point. I mean, you can get banned, but it's not like you were
Who
going there
cares?
anyway.
Yeah. Right.
Well, yeah.
So, I mean, number 25 on the, top whatever list, like, you weren't going. So just keep doing your thing. Keep being great in USA Powerlifting or USPA. Like, see, I think it makes it okay that I said that. Just be great. Just don't care.
Yep. No, I think that's fair.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, unless you really do have a shot at being a world competitor, like, I don't know. Why would you be worked up about this at all?
Yeah, exactly. And, I knew the chances, like I knew with the time limit, with me trying to switch over to the German Federation, I knew the chances of me not being able to compete at Worlds. But I did get that final word like a few hours ago, and it didn't upset me, because I'd already had it in my head that, okay, I'm not competing at Worlds this year. How can I move forward? I just need to focus on moving forward rather than just dwell and just what's not going to happen. It's just not happening. It was just been another world title put on my belt, but I'll give it to somebody else this year. They can have fun with it.
Yeah. Something else I wanted to ask you about was what's your best deadlifting competition of all time? What's the weight on that?
424 or 192.5 kilos.
Okay. And that what is it? Good lift points? Is that what's now being used? Or,
yeah.
Okay. So, I know it's changed a few times.
Who knows?
Is that, aren't you, I mean, that's the strongest deadlift of any weight class, really, based on whatever point system you use, right?
Yeah. So whatever point system, I still have the strongest deadlift in the IPF.
So it's over 4 times body weight deadlift then, isn't it?
Yeah, around 4.5. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy.
That is. That's really crazy.
I'd have to deadlift 1 million pounds.
Wow. 1 million, man. You've been eating over.
It's been taking his supplements over here. So.
No, is there anyone else that's close to you then? Like, anyone else's that's like knocking on the door of that?
I mean, not really.
Yeah.
I mean, you have some folks like no.
What about at Worlds in your weight class? Is there anyone from any of the other countries that's like really close to competitive with you? Like if you not able to go this year, but if you're able to go to IPF Worlds and you have a good meet, what's for you a good meet? Is there anyone that's can hang with you?
Let me see. I'm about to do the math right now. So second to me when I was nominated was 83 pounds behind me. Okay. That was second nominated to me. So this go around, no. Yeah. There was no, like, it would have been an easier win per se. But the thing with Worlds, which should be noted, and I shouldn't say it's an easy win because I essentially did not pick my numbers. The thing with Worlds is they do exactly like our coaches, they choose exactly the numbers that you need to win. So, my current PR is 408 in total. But, if it took me 385 to win, that's what they're going to do. Right. So you can total significantly lower and simply win off body weight, which I have before. Because, again, they're just doing what's going to seal that win. You get first place and you get 12 points going towards team points. So I say it's an easy win, but at the end of the day, like, it might come down to me just doing an easier pull because I fucked up somewhere on bench like I usually do. Like, what the hell? I don't even know what happens on my 30 10s, but I'm just over it. So. But I do think there are some rising lifters who potentially can make my adrenaline get higher at Worlds, but I'm very confident in my ability to do things, and I'm very confident in my ability to win. So for anybody that is like coming against me, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let it.
Yeah.
So, and I know people can see that as like, oh, here she goes being cocky. No, I'm just very confident in myself.
No, I think
I
that's
don't wake up in
positive.
the morning
Yeah.
like, hey, girl, you're such a fucking loser.
You don't win with that attitude, I don't think, generally.
Like, I've never said that. Like, I will wake up like, man, I feel like I'm going to go deadlift 440 pounds a day.
Yeah, right.
And I'll go do it because why not?
Well, so you teach third graders then. Do your kids have any do they understand that you're really strong? Like, do they get that at all?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they know it. So, like, in the classroom, so wherever I go, like Ireland, anywhere, just anywhere, like I take photos and I will make canvas prints of them if like they actually turn out decent and not blurry. And the kids are always like, hey, where was this picture taken? And so they're like, at the beginning, I think them and their parents probably thought I was telling some like fisherman tale.
Yeah.
Like, I go over here because people think I'm really strong and they want to see me be really strong. And they're like, what are you talking about? Like, I even had a parent at open house go to give me like a bag of like tissues. And he was like, hey, it's kind of heavy. Do you want me to like carry this for you over here? I'm like, no, I got it. Thank you.
I picture at conferences like a dad of one of the kids in your class being like, oh, my son says you're pretty strong. How much can you bench press? Like trying to size you up.
Has that came up before?
Yeah.
Yeah, it has. And then, there's this one parent whose kids in the class, like during open house, like of course, like we're wearing our mask and she's just staring at me. And she was like, you look very familiar. I was like, I don't know. And she's like, do you lift weights? And I was like, great. Perfect. And she was like, I follow you on social media. I was like, even worse.
Yeah. Do you kind of like to keep the two worlds a little bit separate if possible in some ways?
Yeah, because, I do tell them like when, I was still going to Sweden, I would tell them like, hey, like I got to leave for like a week, but like I'll come back with like a gold medal and we'll cheer and stuff. But typically that's my personal life. You have your personal life. I ain't gonna bug you about it unless you're like in the newspaper for being arrested because you're a third grader and doing some reckless shit. But that's kind of, if they're in the newspaper for doing something real dumb, I'm probably gonna hang it in the wall.
Yeah.
These are our accomplishments. These are the students. But yeah, I try to keep it separate. And if their parents choose to ask me, I mean, I've had some parents that knew I was about to compete and they wanted to watch the YouTube, so I just gave it to them. And some of them are very supportive. So I typically do keep it a little bit private, though, because it does get pretty chaotic with school. And I don't want it to carry over into powerlifting.
Yeah. So I'm assuming you've never had a parent that's also competed in powerlifting then?
Well, this one that noticed me, she does. It was
she does. Okay.
She does like equipped and like USPL.
Okay. So she actually got it. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't just she just randomly followed you. Okay.
Yeah, she definitely gets it. And then like one time, like Rogue Fitness posted like one of my videos on their page. I was like, oh great, here comes a shit show.
Yeah.
But it was like, oh my gosh, like I worked at school. Like, listen, I didn't even like you. Please don't. Like, you got those people that just, oh, I know her. No, you don't.
Yeah. Right.
We're not even cool. So,
Yes.
yeah. So teaching powerlifting, I try to keep it separate, but mention it sometimes.
Yeah. Okay. Heather, we've got this little game we play with everyone. It's called Overrated, Underrated. And we've got a special Heather Connor set of topics. And it's your job when we fire each one to you. You decide if it's overrated or underrated, and you can elaborate as much or as little as you want to, but you just have to remember you cannot ride the line in between. You have to say, come up with an overrated or underrated definitive answer.
I got it.
Okay, so if you're ready to play, we'll get it kicked
Oh,
off
I'm ready.
here. Okay. Overrated or underrated, lifting with your hair down?
Underrated.
Has that always been like your go-to hair position on this? Like, have you always been a hair
No,
down?
like, God, I had like a Britney moment. I moved back from California. My hair was like completely dead from that dry ass heat. So I'm like, let's cut it off. So I did. And I was like, let's get layers because why not? Oh my gosh. So curly hair, layers, not my brightest, thing in my head. So when I would always put it up, like little strands would just randomly fall down. And that became like super annoying. So I just took my hair down, just flipped it all back at one time. So it would just all get out the way. And then people were just, oh my gosh, you're going super saiyan.
Well,
Nope, trying to see, but thank you.
I don't know if you know what Tommy looks like, but Tommy has.
I also have very long curly hair myself.
Yeah.
But I would go crazy if I lifted with my hair down. I can't stand it one bit when I'm doing anything to have my hair in my face. So it has to be up when I'm doing things.
I tell people all the time that try to send me like videos like mimicking it. I'm like, it's actually just an art to it because people think like, oh, I'll just flip my hair back, but it doesn't work that way. So, but I do like it when like men put mops on their head and they're like, hell yeah, you're doing great.
We actually, it just reminded me of it right now. We make a bunch of memes all the time, and we did one. It didn't specifically say your name on it, but it was this woman in a foreign country doing this dance where, like, the dance was literally like her twirling this very long hair.
About that, yeah.
And it was almost like to a Middle Eastern, some sort of music, and it was something like girls flipping their hair back before they go to deadlift. And you were probably tagged in it upwards of 50 to 100 times, I would assume.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, and we didn't say your name, but everyone said, Heather Connor.
Yeah, just add me.
Yeah.
Like it's very high.
Yeah. Your hair kind of looks similar to,
Yeah, they are kind of similar.
Tommy's might be longer. I don't know.
I would say mine probably is longer. I will say yours is blonder though.
I did get it cut recently, so his is longer than mine right now.
I mean, I told Tanner last week I had my Massenomics shirt on and I was kind of like upset I didn't get any compliments, and then I did realize that the print in the back you can't even see it because my hair is so long it covers it. So that was kind of my bad.
I mean, I thought about you guys today. I was like, oh, I wonder if they had a huge Labor Day sale.
We really didn't.
We didn't actually, yeah.
We really didn't. I see that's every holiday people use as a time to make a sale too.
We don't do sales very often.
No.
Like, it's pretty rare for us. So
sometimes I feel bad. I'm like, are we supposed to use every holiday as an opportunity to?
We're not taking advantage of these holidays the way we're supposed to. Yeah, that's our bad.
Okay. Next one. Overrated or underrated? TikTok.
You know what? Overrated. Only because I'm not good at it. But
we're in the same club.
If you think Instagram is toxic with like trolls, my goodness.
Yes.
You know what? I bet you there are like 1 billion 13 range 17-year-old boys tell me that I just fucking suck. I'm like, okay, but I'm not going to argue with you. So, I probably teach you. So please leave me alone. Yeah, super toxic. But, we all love a good red flag, and here I am still doing it. So
Yep. We're in the same boat. I think we kind of talked about it earlier. And
we did.
We're kind of in the same boat. And I like good old predictable Instagram.
I mean, it's kind of crazy when you say Instagram's predictable, but that's it kind of is compared to TikTok.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah. Super toxic. Super toxic. But I do love my cat videos I get. So
I like the one you did of Big Julius had made a video of
that was really good.
Yeah, that was very like what you do if they come to your work and you are talking to him like a school teacher, like, now Julius.
You know what? I had a third grader whose mom works at the school walk in while I was doing it. So he just had to watch it happen. I was like, no, but this is my time.
Yeah.
started yet, so you're just gonna watch me do this.
That's funny.
TikTok classes in session.
Overrated or underrated combo racks?
Combo racks,
Yeah.
underrated. I don't think they're overrated at all. They're so fucking handy.
Yep.
And I guess because like I've been fortunate enough to train on so many different racks. I like being able to, well, this is just for me. My squat rack height and my bench rack height are the same.
Really?
Yes, 4'4".
Really?
So maybe that's why I think it's underrated, because everybody's so damn jealous that they got to put in more work to move this.
That makes that really convenient, actually.
Yeah.
Wow.
I take the bar and I put it down on bench. I'm like, well,
What about, I was wondering, with you being smaller than your average lifter, like setting up on the bench press, I imagine it's all just second nature to you now. Is it any more difficult to figure out your setup on bench press?
it is weird. Like, I'm fortunate enough to like be very unproportionate as a small person. Like, my arms are like orangutan arms, and my legs are like stubs. But like with my height, I sit very comfortable to where I don't have to use blocks underneath my feet. They just like, as soon as I put I'm in a good position. But because of my short torso, it does make it a little bit harder to get in a position to where I can really utilize an arch. I mean, I think I arch for no reason, because my arms are so damn long, it wouldn't matter anyways. But I think with my height and how my body is proportioned, it doesn't make bench that hard to set up on. Whereas like someone who is my size but very proportionate in their limbs, it might be a little bit more difficult for them trying to find that right positioning for them.
Yeah, that makes sense. Mm-hmm. What about any other, as long as we're talking about it, is there any other equipment areas that people aren't making stuff that like you like as being, again, smaller than average? Like what about like belts, for example? You wear a 4-inch thick belt. I'm guessing, like, is that, does that feel normal to you, or does that feel like it's huge, or like, how does that?
Well, definitely huge. It literally covers my torso.
Right. Well, and that is the funny part, is like you wear the same size belt as Blaine Sumner, and like you guys are like opposite ends of the size spectrum.
Yeah. So it just, my lower and my upper torso is protected at all times. That's great. It's so I can't really be. So when I first started powerlifting, I was given a belt from Titan that was like extremely big, but I made it work because that's all I could afford. And like, I remember I drilled holes in it to where, I mean, this thing almost looped around me twice. Yeah. That's how big it was.
Yeah.
So once I got sponsored by SBD at 2016 Worlds, that's when they gave me the SBD belt. And, that's really all I've known in powerlifting. So my body kind of conformed with it. It felt very natural to it. But it does hurt sometimes, especially when it gets pushed under my rib. So, I like it, but I could probably definitely use like a 10 millimeter instead of a 13.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Those are interesting things.
Yeah, that we don't think about.
Right.
It'd
be like if our belt was like 7 inches tall, like how that would be, seems like it'd be like ungodly uncomfortable.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, be uncomfortable.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. All right, last one, and this one's the most important one. Your performance is mostly judged on how you do on this last one. So, overrated or underrated school lunches?
You know what? Just because of pizza dippers, I'm going to say underrated.
the pizza dippers are where it's at.
Pizza dippers. So, like, I usually bring my lunch to school, but then these kids were just, like, raging over these pizza dippers. I'm like, what the fuck? They're not even probably that good. So, like, this only happened, like, 2 weeks ago. They had pizza dippers, and I was like, let me get some pizza dippers. School lunch is free right now because of COVID, whatever. Oh my gosh. It was so, it's like pizza dippers are just literally bread with cheese stuffed inside with marinara sauce, but it rocks.
So is there any other particular ones besides that you're like, for sure not, you're like, you see that on the menu and you're not bringing your lunch that day because you got to have it?
Nope.
Just pizza dippers.
Just pizza dippers.
Undefeated champ.
Pro tip.
Pizza dippers.
I'm going to show up to my kids' school next when they have pizza dip. I haven't heard them say that phrase before.
I haven't either. I don't have
I
kids
remember Italian dunkers is something that we had. I imagine it's probably about the same thing.
Oh, you know what? They do have some this microwavable Mexican pizza. That's pretty good. And they do have some good breakfast stuff.
Okay.
That's like 500 calories per item, but whatever.
Yeah.
They're burn it off yelling at me anyways. So
it kind of goes back to the thing that even bad pizza is always good, right?
That's true.
So it's like pizza, you can't mess that one up too bad.
If your name is my sister's name, you can mess up any kind of food. Their name. She knows.
Yeah.
She knows. She's
well, great news, Heather. You passed overrated, underrated. We're proud of you.
nice. Nice thing.
You did a really, really good job.
Only because of pizza dippers.
Yeah, that
Pizza dippers saved the day.
You had us on the it was on the fence, and when you came out
We
with
heard
pizza dippers,
that gave the approval.
yeah.
Just get stuffed cheesy bread at Domino's or something. You got some pizza
Right.
dippers right there. Nice.
Yeah, I can't imagine anyone that would be like, oh no, I don't like that.
Yeah, no, I'm good with not having that.
I mean, honestly, if they say that to me, I probably don't need them in my life anyway.
No,
So.
I feel like that's kind of a
I can
general
understand
policy.
if you say, no, I'm trying to do some things, I shouldn't eat that right now. But if you're like, no, I do not like that, the way that tastes, I'm like, ugh, really?
I really don't like you, so get out.
We're in very different places in life right now.
I don't think we can meet together on anything knowing that now. All right. Well, we really appreciate having you on, Heather. That was really cool. I guess we learned a little bit more about the USAPL IPF thing. What I would say I kind of learned is none of it still makes any sense. But
That's maybe my biggest
yeah,
takeaway.
maybe it even makes less sense than what I thought.
Yeah, you just know it's shady now.
Right. No, that was really cool. Is there anything you want to talk about sponsors or tell anyone if they want to come to your third grade classroom, any of that information you want to get out there?
If you are going to come to my third grade classroom, just make sure that you wear a helmet because it gets crazy in there sometimes.
Okay, good.
But I appreciate you guys taking me on.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
that was great. We appreciate it. That was good stuff.
Y'all have a good night, okay?
Yeah, good luck with the German team or wherever you compete next.
Thank you so much. I'll keep y'all posted.
All right,
Awesome.
cool. Thanks.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Cool beans.
Do you think they have cool beans at school lunch?
Probably because they're not intended to be cool, but it's like the lunch ladies
It's like
didn't
at
keep them
some
hot.
point these were
Yeah,
hot beans,
yeah.
but now you're getting
They're
the
getting
cool
the
beans.
cool beans.
Yeah.
Those cool beans aren't that cool beans, though, are they?
those are probably the only cool beans that aren't cool beans.
Yeah, the unintended cool beans, the incidental cool beans.
Yeah, it's got to be intentional.
Did you like school lunches?
I never had. I'm not a picky eater, so I was never one of those people who's like, oh, school. I always like school lunch. My issue,
loved school
My
lunches.
issue was always just it was never enough food. That's I think
Exactly.
everyone's issue,
That was-
isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I weighed over 200 pounds by the time I was in sixth grade, and they get
See,
4
that's-
chicken nuggets.
That was not me. I don't know
Right,
how you.
yeah.
I don't know how you did that because for me it was
I actually don't know either.
I grew up. My mother made me breakfast every day. Until the day I
Mine
graduated
too.
high school. Made me
Me
breakfast,
too.
and I'm
Me
not saying
too.
she made me a bowl of cereal. She made me omelets and waffles and pancakes and egg bake, biscuits and she made good shit for breakfast every day. So I'd have a big breakfast. I'd go to school. I'd eat as much school lunch as I possibly could, and then at night, as soon as I got home from whatever I was doing after school or sports practice, there was another big meal waiting for me there. And I graduated high school weighing 165 pounds. Didn't make any sense. I don't know, but that's how it was.
Active lifestyle, good metabolism.
I guess. I don't know. Like for me, until I really got into lifting, it was like, whoa, I need to eat like a lot.
Right.
I thought I was actually one of those guys like, oh, I can't gain weight. It's not possible.
Right.
Then you realize all your perception is
Of
a
what
little,
a lot is.
It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
But it still is like amazing to be thinking back that I could only weigh that much for the amount I did eat at that time.
It is weird. But as far as school lunches, I think everyone has a couple that are like, ooh, I just do not care for that. Like if you just really like, I'm like, that just to me is not I don't want to eat that anywhere at school or anywhere else.
Yeah.
I actually also became the older I've gotten, the less of a picky eater I have gotten. So the few I didn't like then, I'm thinking now I'm like, oh, I didn't know that would actually sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
But that was my only thing. Like at our school, they did have like loaves of bread and a vat of like 80% fat peanut butter.
Yep,
Like,
for us, it was you got done, and usually there was like maybe a thing of apples or bananas that you could take as much as you want, and there was also just loaves of bread and single serving cups of peanut butter and jelly. And that was when you would just go crazy and you just be like, all right, I'll also eat 5 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
That's what we would do.
Eating.
We would go and be like, and quite honestly, we would take the bread and whatever we were eating would be a sandwich. When we would have pizza, I would make it into a sandwich.
Really?
Well, because you would get like one slice
was
of
your pizza in rectangles, or was it
yes,
actually,
we had the rectangle pizza. So you
yeah.
got, when we were older, you get a rectangle and a triangle.
Was it?
They'd cut it in half.
I don't remember
you
that.
Get one and a half.
I don't remember getting that.
I'm like, that is
still like
disturbingly
no food.
low amount of food for.
I would assume. I mean, this is definitely public knowledge, so you could probably look. But I would guess that their guidelines are like there has to be at least this many calories in a meal, right?
I would assume so. There's got to be something, and I know like it changed. It's way different than probably when we were in school. I know
they're
like
not trying to get you 20 servings of grain in a day,
right? And like I know Michelle Obama changed a lot of things, and like some of that for the good, and some of that I still like doesn't even. Like some of it, what I had seen doesn't pass the sniff test to me of like just like logical. Like I get the high level logic behind it, but the way it filters down to what people are actually getting, I'm like,
execution.
This isn't healthy either.
I'd be curious to get my brother Ryan's take on this. Because he,
does he ever eat the school lunch?
I don't know. I've never even talked to him about school lunch before.
We'll have to talk to him about that,
dude. Probably my favorite school lunch. There was 2 that I always loved. One, turkey a la king. Did you guys have that?
No.
It would be like mashed potatoes, just smothered in like gravy that had like chunks of turkey in it.
Okay.
Turkey, gravy, and potatoes. It's like that's the best things right there.
Yeah.
So turkey a la king was amazing, and I always liked the chili day because you'd get
chili day was one I was going to say. Karma roll.
Yeah, the roll.
We had karma roll. We called it
cinnamon.
C day because we had like a cinnamon roll, chili, cottage cheese, carrot wheels, carton of milk. C day. C day was the bomb. I love C day.
Yeah, just chili.
Dipping a karma roll in chili is good.
I don't remember getting we always got cinnamon rolls.
Okay.
I don't remember getting
I think ours
rolls.
were karma roll, but either way, like that was the bomb.
It's funny that
and
was.
I love cottage cheese.
Cheese stick. We'd get a cheese stick with it.
Okay.
You drop the cheese stick into the chili. Tear
right.
it up.
That's smart.
The chili has to have cheese in it.
Yeah, that's a good day. I always loved macaroni and cheese day.
I don't really remember that.
Yeah, we had it was a lot, and what I loved about it especially is most of the kids hated it because it was very far removed from Kraft macaroni and cheese.
Yeah, it's like this is the cheese that gets made when you're making it for hundreds of people.
Right. But I loved it, so nobody else would eat it. And like, do you remember you're not supposed to share your lunch?
No, there was always like you'd wait and be like, okay,
they're not looking. And then you butt your tray up to it, and it's like you shovel it over.
Or just you just know there's like the 3 guys that like are like super picky and don't eat their stuff. And you're like, yep, I know I can get half of his lunch.
Those were my favorite kids to go to school with. Honestly, like I'm not even joking. Like there were some kids that I was halfway friends with because I knew they didn't eat half their lunch. I'm like,
I didn't have very many friends that were like that though. Like that didn't happen very often.
I had a couple people that like on certain days, and I was not stupid about it. Like I'd be in lunch line with those people because I'm like, I'm sitting by you, dude. And because it like the rest of us all knew the people. So it's like a fight over getting, like who gets to sit by Johnny because he doesn't eat his cheeseburger,
Yeah. So we both, I mean, your school was significantly smaller than mine, but my school by no means was like my graduating class was like 70 some people.
Yeah. Mine was 26, but we were the biggest class in the school.
And my class actually at the time was the smallest one in the history. So it was, I mean, they were usually a little bigger than that, but, Oh, so we had for lunch we had 2 options. What did you guys have 2 options or just one?
You could, when I got older, they started making it, you could order a big salad. You
see,
either got the
okay.
lunch or you could order a big salad if you count that as an option.
They always had the salad bar, and then there was 2 options besides that. But like my wife is from locally, where they had like many
So you had 2 options? Like it was like 2 lines
there was 2
or
different
what?
lines. Yep. So in the morning when they did lunch, you got to say
That's
it's like,
crazy.
all right, line 1 is chili and line 2 is whatever. Line 2
Really?
is something different. Yeah, we had 2 different.
And at the beginning of the day, they would ask you which one
so
you
when
want.
you took
so they were
attendance, when they took lunch count, you had to say what one you're getting.
Son of a gun, that would have been
Yeah.
sweet.
Yeah.
Like 2 choices.
Yeah,
Ours
because
was absolutely
like you
not.
got that when you went to high school. Like that was one of the
Yeah.
perks. Like, oh, in high school we get to pick what we want. Yeah. But like here, I'm pretty sure I remember my wife saying, your wife too. I think they had like 5 or 6 choices, didn't they?
Yeah, and also then they live it. And I guess you lived in I don't know. Did you ever get to do open campus? Like
they pretty much by the time I was a senior had pretty much squashed that.
that's
like that kind
everyone
of
always
went away.
loses that privilege.
Yep.
But I suppose here, like in a town, like I lived in a town. If you got open campus, maybe you could get something to eat at the gas station that wasn't even a good gas station.
Yeah.
Open campus didn't mean anything. It's like there's no businesses in the towns that we live in. It's like there's a bar. Like there's not enough time to go sit and eat.
Sit at the bar.
Well,
for
yeah,
lunch, your 40-minute lunch break. Yeah.
Yeah. Like open campus, like great, I'll go to the post office and the bank.
I think that we had that sort of off and on when I was like a freshman, and then by the time I was a sophomore, it was sort of gone, and by the time I was a senior, like it didn't exist.
People always lose that privilege.
Yeah.
Don't-
I think like in this day and age, so they're like the people coming and going from a school is a much tighter thing, than,
right, I suppose it is.
what it was years ago.
Back in my day.
Back in the day, yeah. School lunch. Memories, huh?
Making me hungry, kind of.
Me too.
Had
actually.
a big supper, but
I didn't
think of some of my that chili day, C day.
Dude, chili day was good. It was a good thick. It was a good thick chili too.
I like chili too.
I'm assuming every school in the state got the same chili. Like,
You would think so, right?
Yeah, I don't think they had the. I don't think the cooks in the thing.
It wasn't their secret recipe.
Their own family recipe. That
I
they've been
imagine
handed
there's
down.
choices. So your school probably had some had some different things than my school because it was the lunch ladies' jobs to select the menu to a certain degree. So I imagine there's a certain selection. So like you could probably had some things that we didn't have and vice versa.
I'm trying really hard to think of something that wasn't good, and I just can't. I honestly can't remember enough meals, which is kind of insane because it's like you spend basically every day of your life eating lunch in these cafeterias.
Yeah.
And I can't remember very many of the meals.
She talked about the Mexican pizza. We had a fiestada, I think is what it was
I
called.
I do not remember that.
At the time, and actually we also had chili crispitos, and most of the kids loved chili crispitos. They are basically like a taquito.
Oh yeah,
You got,
like you get in the gas. Like,
And it's funny, it wasn't until like after I graduated high school that I realized I love Mexican food. I believed up until then I believed that I did not like Mexican food
because you're being subjected to it was like
and like in hindsight I would have loved those now, but back then I didn't like them because I didn't like Mexican.
Right,
because I'm like, no, I don't like Mexican food, so that would have been the things I don't like. But now I'm like, those were probably awesome.
Yeah, God, it's like actually kind of blown my mind that I can't think of what we'd have for lunch that often. Wow. I guess it was just kind of insignificant at the time.
Right. It was just that's
It was just like, just going with the motions.
Yeah, that is
putting food in front of me, no big deal.
Well, it's kind of the whole school system thing.
I actually talked about it. I've talked about it with like some buddies before where like growing up, I mean, by no means were we ever like, oh, I don't know what, we're not like scraping by for meals, It's
Right,
like, I'm not going to go to bed hungry.
Right.
But like you just kind of took food for granted. It's like, well, yeah, someone has to feed me. This is the way it is.
That's like, and even
like,
up till where you're like 18 years old, and that's still the system. It's like, well,
it's around eating time. There should be food in front of me. And then like it gets to a point like when you go to college, like, oh, like when you just eat like
what
shit.
do I get here?
And then there comes to a point where you're like, oh, someone's providing food for me. And
Like,
now,
this is
like
the
even now
best.
at this point, yeah, someone's hooking up a meal. It's like, oh hell yeah. Like I don't got to think about that. I don't got to cook anything. Like it's all, I just show up and just eat.
Yeah.
That's like life is good.
It is funny how you do take it for granted.
Yeah,
then.
you took it for granted when you're younger, and now it's still it's like something. It feels like, well, you've gotten a free meal before, but it's still I never take it for granted. Like it's always really really nice when that happens.
It's like they say, there's no such thing as a free lunch these days.
Yeah, usually that's used in some really shitty context of trying to prove some political point or something, right?
No such thing as a free lunch these days.
I like the other one. Common sense
Isn't so common
Common
anymore.
sense might as well just be They don't think what I think. They don't have
That's
common
not common
sense.
sense.
That is common. Like
That is the definition.
the
of
phrase "common sense"
Yeah.
now is people that don't think what I think
Have
don't
no
have
common
common
sense.
sense. Like, oh my god, it's the dumbest thing. Oh, I hate it when I hear people say he doesn't have any common sense.
He disagrees with me.
Yeah. It's so stupid.
Common sense is not as common as it used to be.
Yeah. Or free lunches, right?
No such thing as a free lunch these days. There used to be apparently, but like these days, there's no such thing as a free lunch with everything going on.
Yeah. With everything going on, of course.
Make sure to check out our supporting memberships. The Massenomics Discord has just
It's
been
freaking popping.
It is popping.
We say that every week, and it gets more popping every week too.
the stuff that's coming out of the Massenomics Discord for supporting
some
memberships.
real grade A stuff.
It is,
And that's not just us selling it. It's actually
no,
some grade A
there's
stuff. In there.
stuff every day, and I see more people joining today. There's
And then new people are showing up in groves too.
They,
Is the other
they really
thing.
are, which every additional person just kind of to me just makes it that much more fun.
It does.
Because it's this one more thing, this one more unique perspective
And
that
like
you're going to get in there.
some people you don't hear from them often, but then
But
when
every
they
once in a while
chime in and
yeah.
say, "Hey, I'm glad they contributed because they had
Exactly.
something really fun to add there."
Yes. So you can get in on it. All you got to do is become a supporting member of the podcast. And you can do that. That's on our website in our shop. It's basically one of the SKU items that you would find in our shop. You can click on it and choose your level. There's a few different levels that you can join, but all of those will technically get you into the Massenomics Discord community. It's a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun.
If you're a big fan of the podcast, say you've listened to this for a long time, you will enjoy it.
And
I promise you will be like, this is worth it.
If you're ever like, "Hey, the Massenomics Instagram comment section is kind of fun sometimes," then you'd really like the Discord.
It's like the untested version of the Massenomics Instagram comment
Like
section.
monoliths are in there, and there's just freaking people are wrapping their knees.
Yeah.
Like that's what's going on basically.
Yeah. That's what the Discord is like.
There's a deadlift bar, so
Yeah.
you know it's good.
Yeah, all the specialty
There's strength
equipment.
co plates everywhere.
Oh, there is strength co plates everywhere. In
There
the
actually is a lot of
Discord.
strength co plates in the Discord.
There's a lot of strength co talk in the Discord. Oh, I forgot. I wanted to tell you about hybrid performance method, Tommy. The hybrid strength.
Well, I
coach.
kind of wanted to tell you about something.
Oh,
too,
were you
so
going to
I-
tell me?
I wanted to tell you about Spud Inc. while we were at it. So.
Well, I really wanted to tell you about hybrid.
Okay, you better go then.
Okay. The Hybrid Strength Coach app is here, and it's stacked with the most popular hybrid training programs, coaching videos, exercise demonstrations, and instructional images to ensure your technique is on point. World-class training programs designed by the greatest minds of strength delivered straight to your mobile device. The Hybrid Strength Coach app sets a new standard for the industry, providing streamlined platform for athletes of all backgrounds and putting the power of the strongest team in your hands. The Hybrid Strength Coach programs include access to program-specific private Discord communities, something we're no stranger to,
That's
for live access to real-time feedback
kind of
from
what it's
the
all
hybrid
about
coaches.
in this day and age.
Right, and so like the Hybrid Strength Coach app, what it's doing, it's it's like the untested version of the Excel program that you got. It's like the untested version.
It's like
of
if an Excel program had monoliths,
deadlift
and knee
bars,
sleeves. Yeah.
but it puts all that in the palm of your hand, so you've got it all right there, and it's easy access, and it looks good. You really can't go wrong. And with anything hybrid, including the app, the nutrition programming, or the training programming, we've got a discount code. It's MASS. That'll save you 5% on the lifetime of any of those things that you purchase. I'm glad you let me tell you about hybrid.
I am too. But now that you shared, I want
Now
to
that-
share.
okay, good.
I have something I would
Yeah,
like to share too.
Reciprocate.
I would. And that is that this episode is also brought to you by Spud Inc. and the Spud Inc. Belt Squat Belt. The Spud Inc. Belt Squat Belt is a great way to train your lower body without placing a heavy load on your spine. The Belt Squat Belt is designed for maximal comfort on your hips while allowing you to use heavy weights to train your legs. It's great for athletes to use in season to train legs without taxing the entire body. It's also a great way for athletes with back pain to squat without axial loading that a bar places on the spine. It is also a great way to take a break from the typical squat routine and still hit your legs hard. It was designed to be used with any type of loading you can handle. Ideally, this type of squat is done in a machine specifically designed for it. You might even call it a belt squat.
Yes.
However, they also use it by loading kettlebells, regular weights, dumbbells, and other odd weights. With a little creativity, you can do belt squats in any environment. The Belt Squad is also great for dips, pull-ups, sled, drags, and more. Available in several sizes, and like all Spud Inc. products, it's made in America. You can check out the Spud Inc. belt strap belt online at spud-inc-straps.com.
The Spud Inc. belt strap belt is kind of like the untested version of belt strap belts.
Yeah. You just think of like what a belt squat belt should be, and
They
then
add
make
like
it way more
monoliths
awesome.
and
Yeah.
deadlift bars
Yep.
and
And-
knee wraps
yeah.
to a belt, squat belt.
And then adding that it's not being tested too.
Yeah.
Like it's untested. So
It's almost cheating, but
you know it's good.
Yeah.
Then. But as that being a Spud Inc. product that I use a lot, I can tell you that
That's true.
It is the real deal.
yeah.
It is the real deal.
Always been a belt squat.
Kind of, I like
fan.
it.
Yeah.
I've always been a fan of it. Yeah, ever since we got it.
Yeah,
It
right.
is,
Yeah, there's certain people in the gym you always know that like certain pieces of equipment too. Everyone has their favorites, and it doesn't even have to be discussed. You just know which ones
Yep.
that people
Yep. Certain people stick to
yeah.
certain ones, and the belt squat has always been a good one for me.
Yeah.
For a long time, it was also the glute ham raise, and then I kind of
Yes.
backed off that one for a long time.
I'm a big fan
But
of
I
the
actually
GHR
when
now.
I was talking to you about it the other day, I'm like, you know what? I used to love that thing. I better get back on that. So
Yeah.
I have been now
I love
using
it.
that a little more.
Big part of my training always.
Yeah.
It's a love hate actually.
Really?
Yeah, I mean it's hard,
Yeah.
but that's kind of why I like it, I guess. It's hard, but yet doesn't hurt in the wrong ways. Some things that, like the belt squat to me, hurts in some ways I
Just
don't
can't
want
quite
it to
get in
hurt.
the
Yeah, it
position,
just doesn't
yeah.
really like. So to me, I use the leg press more often, honestly, just
Mm-hmm.
because I can kind of get the training stimulus that I want without doing some things that I don't want. But like the glute ham raise or glute ham developer, I don't know. I want there to stop being both of those names for it. So
Yeah. GHR and GHD. Is there
Is it-
actually
I don't
a
know.
physical difference between those two
somebody
things?
tell me, and like even if there is, there really isn't. It's kind of I believe it's kind of the same thing.
That's
so
what I feel like.
Stop having there be both.
Yeah.
Like let's
Just
pick one.
one.
Yeah, let's pick one and we'll roll with that one from now on. What do you like better, GHR or GHD?
I
like
always
GHR.
I always went GHR. That's
Yeah,
to me what
glute
it-
ham raise.
Yeah.
Glute ham developer. Let's go with the GHR from now. Henceforth, no one say GHD.
I think in our brain it's always GHR.
It's GHR. That's what it is, and we're gonna act like GHD doesn't exist. So don't add us with anything GHD.
Yep, not allowed.
I
here.
think that could be a post almost like stop
I think-
calling like
It's a campaign to remove
Yeah,
GHD from all online stores.
it's like when Teddy Roosevelt was president and he made all beds a uniform size so that people could sell sheets.
Did he really?
I don't know if it was Teddy Roosevelt, but
that was
some
actually a
president
thing?
because beds were not.
Yeah,
it wasn't.
It actually. I've
it
never
wasn't
thought of that.
twin.
It wasn't standardized.
It
in
wasn't
any way.
standardized, and I don't know if it's Teddy Roosevelt. But that's probably.
Yeah. I mean, that
that
does make
part's
sense.
probably wrong. I think the
I
rest
didn't
of it
know.
is right.
I didn't know when.
No,
that
a president actually maybe it wasn't a president. Somebody standardized the sizes of beds,
and everyone agreed on it.
Yeah.
and the world's a better place for it.
it seems like it, right? And just think that's where we could be living with the GHRs.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't have just a corner of GHDs in a gym and
Yeah.
another corner with
Well, it's
GHRs.
like, do we need one of each in the gym?
Would
you
anyone
be able to?
thing, though, aren't they?
Well, one would be a GHR, and the other one would be a GHD.
I'm kind of curious now that we're talking about this, what Rogue actually listed on in their site. Do you know what they have it under?
I can't remember, but I've looked at it recently because I'm even
Theirs
I'm
is pretty
considering
beefy too, isn't it?
They have a few different ones. They have one that costs $1,300,
Oh, man.
and I want it
Yeah.
because it's so expensive. I believe it's good because it's that expensive.
I'm going to go with glute ham as the option. I'll let the computer decide. Okay. Oh, so the first product is the Rogue Donkey, which is also
That's the
like a reverse hyper
Reverse
too.
hyper. That's a whole other thing.
$2,000 for that thing.
That's a horse of a different color.
So they have the Rogue GH1 GHD,
Is that GHD?
and then they have
Is that the Abrams? One of them's like the Abrams or
nope.
something.
The
like
next
that.
one is the Rogue Abram GHD 2.0.
So they're on the GHD.
And then they have the Rogue Echo GHD. That's the one that just like sits on the boxes. Yeah, they're only GHD. They don't have any GHR in this thing. Wow.
I'm not sure.
The
That
Abrams is
seems-
pretty beefy though for $700.
$700.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that one's good, but did you see the $1,300 one?
13. Oh, 1400.
14.
actually.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that one's.
And look at all the
one's much-
adjustments that has
one's
on
much
it.
more robust.
Yeah.
I think it's safe to say the $600 one is off the table. If you're going to
no,
go,
we're not getting the budget.
yeah, if you're going to
one.
go like,
Yeah.
you
we already
spend
have a budget-friendly GHR.
Oh, yeah, that.
But I don't know. Just the fact that they're GHD makes me I don't know if I could bring myself to buy one.
It's kind of
like they're kind of on the wrong
right?
side of the fence.
They're on the wrong side of history on this. I think I think we can all agree.
You don't think we're the ones that are wrong? do
Oh
you?
no, definitely
Okay.
not us. No,
Okay,
no.
good.
As
For a second, I was wondering if
as
we're
someone
the
that's
yeah.
kind of used the machine regularly for a few years and then hasn't touched it again, I definitely know what I'm talking about here.
Yes.
Got this. What one is this called? The Monster. Yeah, the Rogue Monster Swing Arm GHD. So the $1,400 one. This thing weighs 250 pounds. Like that's a.
You can figure with
The footprint
yeah.
is 34 by 62. Like that thing's taking up some space.
And with shipping and tax, you can figure you're going to be in for over $1,600 on that thing.
Mhm. Oh, easy.
Is that justifiable
Oh,
to
boy.
anyone?
I don't know. Ships in 12 to 16 weeks, so it's not shipping fast either. It is funny though. That one has, so looking at their product reviews, that one has 7 reviews.
The Abrams has to have hundreds.
The Abrams has 110
okay.
reviews,
Yeah.
which is significantly more than anything on this glued ham page.
Yeah. I think that's kind of the like,
It's
Yeah.
sure, that's the one they use in like the CrossFit games here and everything. So
right.
I would say that one's probably the standard. And
Yeah.
this one doesn't say anything about long shipping time, so I would assume that means it's probably just ready to go.
I'm sure they make, they sell so many of those
Yeah.
that they try to have them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Glute ham rays. I don't think you've heard the last of the glute ham rays.
There's
Glute ham
more to
develop-
this story.
Yeah.
Yep. Also, though, that's on the footprint of 44 and a half by 73. That's not a small piece.
No, 73. That's
Oh, yeah. 44.
6 feet.
Yeah.
long.
Like basically 4 feet by 6. Like that's,
Yeah. The one we have is only like 2 foot wide.
the one we have right now is narrow. Like,
Yeah.
It is narrow when you're on it.
I mean, it also kind of sucks in comparison to
Yeah.
these, so that's probably part of it.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't suck. It's just like not.
It's just not really
It's
nice.
not top end like most of our stuff is at this
Yeah.
point.
Wow. Well, I'm glad we've discussed that now.
Yes, I really don't think it'll be the last of it.
No.
I'd like to hear everyone's feedback. So, in the YouTube comment section, let us know: is it glute ham developer, or glute ham raise? Ding 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 ding. Let us know what you think.
And I'm sure the Discord will have some thoughts on this too.
Yes. And if you really want your opinion to matter, if you don't care about your opinion mattering, just comment on YouTube. If you want it to matter, become a supporting member. Get in the
then
Discord.
you'll know that it matters.
Yes, and then
When you get validation from everyone
Yeah,
else.
the comments in the Discord mean a little bit more because we know you
A little bit more. You don't need to understate this, Tanner. Might say they're the only ones that do matter.
That's true. That's probably true. Tommy, where do they find you on? Tank tops are for sale.
Oh yeah, tank tops are on sale. Yeah.
They've always been for sale. Well,
Well, as long as they're in the
Yeah,
store, they're
they're for
technically
sale.
anything. People might not know this. Anything in our store is for sale.
yes,
Like
yes.
you
Only
don't-
some of the things are on sale.
Yeah, not many of them. Just a few.
For versus on. The preposition really changes the.
Changes the whole
Yeah.
scenario. But yeah, tank tops are on sale, and at a bit of a discount. So the weather's still nice. People should probably take advantage of that.
Yeah. You know what I remember about prepositions? How you know if something's a preposition?
Okay. Tell me if I'm wrong. You're probably not going to say this one, but with a preposition, can't you? Can you take the prepositional phrase and move it either to the front or the back of the sentence, and it should still be the same?
That could be true. I don't know that for sure. But my thing was more so like I remember in a junior high English class, we had like a board of these are all the prepositions, not the full phrase, but the prepositional phrase always starts with the preposition. I believe it always starts, or maybe it doesn't
I
start.
think it does, but
Yeah.
I also English was my worst class. I sucked at it.
English was probably my worst class too.
Yeah.
I did not care for it, but I remember, a junior high teacher once saying like that you can identify a preposition because it's anywhere that a bird could go.
What?
Yeah, could a bird go on?
Over? It's over one. Over is probably not. Of, on, in.
Yeah.
I've never heard that.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know if it holds up 100% of the time, but it seemed to kind of make sense, and it's something I've hung on to a little bit.
Wow. I mean, in my terrible memory, that seems like it does kind of make sense. Though you're right.
Did you have to diagram sentences?
Oh God, that was the worst.
That's
thing
insane.
Ever.
That's a thing people have to
sucked
do.
So bad. Yeah, that was.
You don't need to know how to do that.
No,
And I don't know
you
what it
don't.
leads to that you do need to know how to do.
And I'm not even one of those people that's like, oh, advanced mathematics is so stupid. They should teach the tax code. Like anyone that says that argument, I think is actually an idiot.
No, I think
like,
English class is very important. I'm just not sure if the sentence diagramming is.
Yeah, that one's still. I
also
don't know.
didn't really like. I liked math. I didn't really like English class, so I look at it from a
I
pretty
didn't really-
biased perspective.
Math. I mean, I was good at math.
Yeah.
But I didn't. There's a fundamental thing that I also wanted to argue with it all. It's
Uh-huh.
like, this is all made up stuff. But
Yeah.
also like, hey, it's a lot of good ideas come out of people that are really good at math. So I'll give it credit there.
That old Albert Einstein.
Those people know a thing or two about a thing or two, I guess.
That's right. Tommy, where do they find you at on Instagram?
Math
We
Wizard.
got a lot of different things to talk about.
Math
so-
Wizard is my new Instagram handle. No, you can find me
at prepositional underscore phrase dot school lunch.
you can find me at tomahawk_D.
You can follow me at Tanner_Baird, but make sure to follow Massenomics at Massenomics and stop calling it a GHD.
See ya.